All right, so we're gonna talk about it. If you guys have been living under a rock for the last week, well, then let me get you up to date here. So recently, it has come to light that you can CT scan Pokemon packs and reveal what is inside of them, right? So you could see if there's a hit, what type of hit, what card it is, all that kind of stuff. And on top of that, now there are companies that are actually offering this as a service to people for $65 to $75 a pack. I'm here to talk about it and get to the bottom of how I feel about this whole situation, because this is crazy. Number one, what does this mean for Pokemon cards? Is this the death of Pokemon cards? Is this the death of sealed products? My answer to that is kind of. So when we're talking about Pokemon cards and products in general, there's two different kind of things that we need to talk about with this. We need to talk about vintage and we need to talk about modern sets, okay? So first off, let's talk about modern sets, because that one's going to be a little bit easier of a conversation. There's not a whole lot of modern sets that it would make sense for people to use this technology on, right? If you're talking $65 a pack, if your largest chase, let's say the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved, is currently on TCG for $127, okay? So if you were to scan 2 packs of cards at $65, you're at $130. You're spending more on the CT scan than on what the card that you're chasing is worth. Is anybody going to do this? Probably not. Honestly, me, because I like money and I don't want to just throw it away, I would never do this. Why would I ever do that? It doesn't make any sense. I could spend $130 on packs, like a booster box plus an ETB or something, and I have a better chance than scanning 2 packs of cards to look for the chase, the Magikarp in that set. You know what I mean? So currently, until this technology gets better, which inevitably it will, right? Let's be serious. Human beings, we do something like this, and then we're going to try and make it easier and cheaper and better until it ruins everything. That's what we do as humans. So I don't think anyone's going to be doing that with modern sets, and I don't think anybody's going to be doing that with modern sets, not anytime soon anyway. The only way I could see that even making sense is if they somehow come out with like a little handheld CT scan thing. But the thing is, it emits radiation. You need to be certified to run that kind of stuff, or just have a lot of money to buy a machine. So unless they come out with some kind of handheld device to do this, I don't think it's really going to affect the everyday purchaser, right? So I don't think that you or me really needs to be worried about people scanning modern packs, right? Even if you look at Evolving Skies, right? Even if you look at the Moonbreon, even a PSA 10 or whatever, it sells for $1,500. It still doesn't even really make any sense. Now, if they could take an entire booster box and do it right now, it's just 1 pack at a time, right? Or what I've seen is they could kind of stack maybe 5 packs at a time, but you're still charged per pack currently, right? So unless you're buying your own machine, or you're gonna spend, that's just a crazy amount of money to only look for $1,500. It's not economically viable. It doesn't make sense to do it monetarily, right? Like I said, until something comes along that's way cheaper, which inevitably it will be, then we can have that conversation. But for now, I think modern packs are safe. You could argue with me if you want. Go ahead in the comments, tell me why I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. I think especially some of the newer Scarlet and Violet sets, nobody's going to be tampering with it. Nobody's going to be some of your higher chases are like $60. You're spending more trying to find that card than selling it. It doesn't make any sense. So I think modern packs are pretty safe. When we start talking about the second subject here, which is vintage, this is where now the conversation gets a little bit more complicated. So from everything I've been watching and reading and yada yada, it seems that this has been a thing. People have known this, right? It just came to light recently because I'm hearing secondhand that some kid or something did it as just a test. He's like, I just want to see if you can do this, and discovered it and decided to post online, where a bunch of people were like, yeah, you didn't know you could do this? People have been doing this for decades. So vintage you already got to be careful with vintage, right? Because they could weigh the packs and all that kind of stuff. If you're buying vintage already right now in today's day and age as a loose booster pack, most likely it's weighed, right? Somebody weighed it already. Whether they said they did or not, they did. If they know enough to sell that pack to you, they know enough to weigh it to get the full benefit from it. Now, if you could potentially chase a $10,000 Charizard or whatever, now it makes a little bit more sense to spend $60 on vintage booster packs, you know? But again, for the average person, me and you, you're not going to take a pack of 36 booster packs. Let me do the math real quick here. Let me calculate this out. So to $65 to CT scan every pack in a booster box would be $2,340, okay? If you're looking at, not only is the grading process, who knows, you know, you could get an 8 and it's not worth $10,000 now. It's only worth $4,000. But it's a giant risk, and spending that amount of money on something like that where you already probably spent $10,000 on the booster box, again, for the average person, it doesn't make sense. Now, for somebody with a ton of money and a ton of packs or a ton of booster boxes already, absolutely, I could see somebody doing this. Why not? If you have multiple boxes, if you have enough money to have that many packs and everything, people are going to do this. The service exists for a reason, and it's because demand. If this service is still around in 3 months, you know that people are doing it. Right now, not everybody's going to be the smartest, and some people are going to be trying to do, you know, modern packs, but most people are going to go for vintage. So more than ever, vintage is going to actually lose value. The sealed products for vintage are going to drop drastically with this. This is all my take, so, you know, take it with a grain of salt, but yeah, vintage is going to drop. The price of vintage sealed is going to drop, especially loose stuff. Sealed stuff, you're probably going to see it stay the same or maybe even be a little bit more expensive. And then singles will probably start popping off a lot more, because as a avid opener, I open a lot of packs. I want to rip packs, right? But most people just want the card, the hit. And if they now assume that everything had gotten CT scanned, why would you waste your money on a $10,000 booster box when you could just buy the Charizard for $10,000 and save yourself the heartache? You know what I mean? So there's that aspect of it. But in general, I think that this technology is only being used by a very small margin of people until the price comes down, or like I said, or until you can have some kind of machine that's in your workspace or in your house that will cost you less than that $10,000 maybe. You know, the story I heard was it was a kid that bought like a $1,500 x-ray machine or something off eBay. So, I mean, there's stuff like that too, where people can come up with that. But for the most part, I think that at this point, vintage is going to be in for a wild ride. I don't think it's going to be very smart to buy sealed vintage anymore, unless it's an actual booster box. Packs have already been roll of the dice, and it was stacked against you already. You know, you had a 1 in 6 chance of that not being weighed or being an actual pack. Now it's even worse odds or chances, in my opinion. So, yeah. Anyway, in general, my closing thoughts on this, I just wanted to talk about this real quick because it has been a hot button issue. I've seen a lot of memes and videos and articles and everything about this, so I just wanted to talk about it a little bit and get my thoughts out there. But overall, my thoughts are, and I'm going to try and just make these condensed bullet points here because I'm just kind of talking off the cuff here. Modern sets, nobody's going to waste the money to do it. You should be fine. Realistically, you shouldn't just be buying loose packs anyway. If you're gonna buy loose packs, just save up a little bit extra and buy yourself an ETB or a booster bundle. Nobody's gonna be CT scanning or X-raying a booster bundle of Twilight Masquerade. I promise you, it's not gonna happen. So modern, I think, is safe. Even, you know, maybe if you go as far back as like Hidden Fates, I don't know. I still don't think that anybody's gonna spend the money. It's just, to me, it's a waste, because you're not gonna see it. Modern, I think, is safe until or if the technology drops that price drastically. If you're talking $5 a pack, everybody and their grandma's going to be doing it. But if it stays around that $60, it just doesn't make any sense if you're spending more to scan one pack of cards than what the chase card is worth. Vintage, completely different subject. I think anybody that's buying loose vintage, you should go into it assuming that somebody waited already. Like now, before this even happened, that's how you should be going into vintage. Now that this technology exists, I think that basically you gotta assume that everything has been weighed and scanned. Anything, I mean, you know, you right now a pack of Fossil or Jungle, it's like $200, 150 to $200. People will be scanning those. People will be doing that. I mean, they'll break a box open if they could sell heavy packs, right? You see them on eBay and stuff, and now it could be scanned packs. I don't know that anybody would actually want to do that, but I would just assume that people have done that with anything vintage. Anything of Wizards of the Coast which is actually valuable, I would assume that. And then my third point is my personal feelings on it. I think that this is interesting. It's definitely interesting, but definitely scummy. It's a scumbag thing to do, in my opinion, weighing or doing the scanning, because it's just pure profit. You're trying to take advantage of people, take their money. You know, the whole point of Pokemon cards and packs and stuff is it's supposed to be the randomness of it and enjoying the hits. And people have moved in to try to take advantage of really like treating it like patsies. Like, oh, okay, this guy's going to buy Evolving Skies for $20. So let me open a booster box. Oh, I pulled the Moonbreon. There's no other Moonbreon going to be in this booster box. I'm going to sell this guy packs for $20, make my money back. That's the kind of attitude that a lot of people have gone into with Pokemon over the last couple of years, the Poke investing side. Now, obviously, everybody wants, if you're investing in something, you want your price to eventually go up. But doing this kind of stuff, in my opinion, is just, it's scumbaggery, man. The people offering this service, also scumbags. You know, they use like we're just trying to make sure that when you open the pack, you know what's in it so that you're not going to damage the card. That's the, no. We all know why you're doing it. You know, you don't have to sugarcoat it. We all get it. And they're trying to make money off of it too. They're trying to make money off of people making money off of scamming people. This is the process, and it's scumbaggery. That's all I can say about it. I think, you know, messing with packs in any way, shape, or form, weighing, scanning stuff for vintage, taking advantage of people. It's just a very lowest of the low, in my opinion. And if you do it, I think that well, I just don't agree with it. So overall, I think that we'll see. Like I said, we'll see what happens. I think at the end of the day, somebody's going to come up with a technology that uses that same stuff to be able to do that kind of stuff, and they'll make it cheaper and more handheld. And at that point, we'll have another conversation about it ruining Pokemon cards. For right now, I think this information is only further ruining vintage. Weighing packs already did. I think now this is just further ruining vintage in that way. But I think modern cards are going to be safe. I don't really think anybody's going to be wasting the money to look for cards in there. I just don't think it's worth it. So anybody that is out there just to make money like I'm talking about, there's no way that they're going to be doing this. Again, unless it's costing them nothing. They have their own machine, something like that, then I could see it. But until that comes out, I think you're safe with modern stuff. So anyway, I just wanted to get my thoughts out on there while this was still a hot button issue. And that's kind of really it. So thanks for listening to me, and I appreciate you guys' time, and I'll see you later. Okay, peace.